What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How is your day?
How is your week?
How is your life?
Going.
Woo! I always have to remind Miguel to hit the button.
Doing all kinds of stuff all at once.
Yes.
It's been a while since I forgot.
Well, don't forget anymore.
To put
So what's up, babe?
hourglass.
What's going on, huh?
Nothing much. What's happening?
You like my Pepe Le Pew glasses?
Is that what? Where did you get
Do you know
Pepe
who
Le
Pepe-
Pew? The skunk?
Yeah, there was an episode where he put on these really big glasses.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember that one.
No?
I remember, I don't remember it, but I remember Dave Chappelle describing it.
Yeah.
And then when I went back and thought about it, I was like, dang, he was right. But in one of his stand-ups, Dave Chappelle was like, Pepe Le Pew was a perv. or what it was. Actually,
my dad loved watching Pepe Le Pew.
No,
he thought it was the funniest shit ever.
Actually, that has something to do with some of the notes that I had. So we were talking about Sedona, right? When we were in Sedona a few weeks back, we were talking about how like times have changed fast over the last, I don't know, 10 years, 20 years or whatever. Because you think about even when we were growing up, like Saturday morning or getting ready for school, it was like you're watching cartoons in the morning.
Yes, you're excited to wake up.
Did you used to get ready watching cartoons in the morning?
Yes.
I
had to think about that, but...
Because I remember every morning, there was like a couple shows and I knew that I could kind of like watch maybe until like this commercial break and then I got to head out because I got to go to school. But I would like watch some shows while I was getting ready. And Saturday morning, it was like a regular thing.
Yeah, I remember, just being excited on Saturday morning, like no school, getting up early, watching the Smurfs.
Eating cereal.
Yes.
But yeah, the kids don't do that now.
Right.
Nobody's watching Saturday morning cartoons today.
We were talking to the kids about that.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
In Sedona, we were talking to them about that.
Yeah. But
the things that we used to do.
Like you said, when I was a kid, that's one of the cartoons that I remember watching is Pepe Le Pew. And then when I heard Dave Chappelle say that in his stand-up, I was like, dang, he was right. Because he was telling his nephew, he's like, let's watch some of the cartoons that I used to watch when I was a kid. He's like, check it out. Let's watch Pepe. He's like, this guy's funny. And then he's like, once he starts watching, he's like, what kind of fucking rapist is this guy? He's just chasing the girl, the cat all around. Remember?
Right. Yes. That's hilarious.
Anyway, you guys got to watch that stand-up. It was funny.
Yeah, good stuff.
But so today we went to jiu-jitsu.
Yes,
It's Saturday morning. We went to a grand opening for our friends Revive Jiu-Jitsu in East Mesa, who's affiliated with our coach, Carlos Frias, and he's a great coach, so you guys can check him out in East Mesa, Revive Jiu-Jitsu. But we went there today and we saw a bunch of our friends from Jiu-Jitsu. And
that was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, we trained a little bit. What'd you think, babe?
We did.
Me and you did some drills.
I always have thought that you were a great trainer. After I trained you, you became
nice. That was smooth.
Right?
Yeah, real good. You steal the credit.
You are the man today because
you are great because of me. Right?
That's so jacked up. No, you had it in you though, man. I see the best in everyone.
Thanks.
And I knew that, once I got you, that was it. I was going to mold you and train you exactly how I wanted you. And look at what I did.
You know what I just thought about right now, babe?
What?
Because I think I know. So why? Why do you say that?
What?
Why did you say that I was good, like helping you out?
Oh, okay. So back to that. Well, I always thought that you did great at training. Okay. Explaining things.
Yeah.
And that's why in Legal Shield, when we were working the business together, you were the one that would do a lot of the training.
Yeah.
Like I was the one that would motivate and inspire. And you were the one that got up there and was like, this is what you got to do in order to get in.
Why was it different today? Like, what was different about me helping you?
Even before, when we went to the gym together and you and I were training a bit at the gym.
Yeah.
Because you showed me the move, and if I did the move incorrectly, you would show me what would happen if I was rolling or
if you
whatever
did
with someone. If I did it the incorrect way, you showed me what was going to happen.
That's right. I'm gonna beat. No, I'm just kidding. No, like your opponent's gonna get out. They're gonna escape. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do that.
Right. Like I think it was the triangle we were working on today.
Yeah.
And I wasn't locking my leg correctly.
Yeah.
And you showed me how you could escape if I did not make sure that I had locked. Yes.
Yeah.
And when there's certain moves where I just would not let go of a hand or a leg, right?
Yeah.
When you were supposed to in order to get your form correct. And at times it would feel uncomfortable because you're like a pretzel.
Or you're awkward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're not letting go of it.
Yeah. And then today you showed me like if you have your grips in and correct.
And you're controlling the other person, you can let go of other things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was just thinking this right now because that is like specifically when we were practicing the triangle, I was showing you like if you don't lock it up, I'm gonna jump out. Like I want to get out. I don't want to be here. And I was thinking that a lot of times like I explain things to you, and you're just like I can tell. You're like, oh geez,
because you fucking over explain.
You're like,
sometimes.
oh geez, here we go again.
Yeah. When it comes to
that's what I
things,
do is like I explain like what.
Yes.
The reasons why.
Yes. I'm just like, listen, so Miguel is very detailed oriented. And when he's explaining something, dude, like for reals, I'm like, get to the point. Like, get to the point. What the hell? Why are you,
because I want you to understand why.
Out? Like, just tell me what it is that I need to know. I know, but there's times where I just want the fucking answer. Give me the freaking answer.
Do you think it's like this in every marriage? Is there somebody like that in every marriage?
Yes.
Is this like there's somebody that knows how to load the dishwasher?
Right. Well,
like there's somebody, probably the person that loads the dishwasher is the one that's always explaining shit.
See, but it depends on the marriage because sometimes
I'm not saying it's the guy or the girl. Yeah, I'm just saying whoever's loading the dishwasher is probably the person that's always explaining shit.
But what I'm saying is in a good marriage, there is that one person.
Yeah.
If you have two of the same people together, those are the marriages that struggle because there's no give and there's no take. Do you see what I'm saying? Like if we were alike, I don't think this marriage would work. We are so different.
I'm already tired of
that
thinking about talking to myself. Oh, yeah, jeez.
Right.
That talks a lot.
Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? There has to be a fun person in the marriage. And I'm pointing at me if you're not watching. Someone who's going to lighten the mood when the mood is heavy. Right? You have someone who brings in the rainbow during the storm, and I am that rainbow. Yeah, I am the pot of gold. But if you have two of the same people, I just don't see how that can work.
Yeah.
If you had two extroverts.
Are you saying opposites attract?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because if I was with someone that was like me, oh my God, I can't imagine a marriage like that. Yeah. Like there would be no stability. There would be no, it would just be a mess, a shit show. A shit show.
Be fun though.
It would totally be fun. Yes, it would be. Not
for a little bit.
We would have a business and the business would rock, but then
it would be fun for a little bit.
Check this out. We would have a business. We would have all the clientele. Like it would be great. But when it came to taxes,
that's what I'm saying.
We would be like, it'd
be fun for a little bit. Oh man.
But some people just can't admit that,
Yep.
Anyways, but no, so today when we were, playing around or rolling, whatever you want to call it.
We're drilling. We're doing a little bit of drilling, practicing a couple moves.
Yes, like it clicks when I'm.
You were doing really
you.
well. You were doing like for somebody that, like for real, you can count. You can count how many times you've done jujitsu on two hands, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you're still a pretty new beginner.
Mm-hmm.
But for today, when we were working the moves, like you were moving around, like you were doing well.
Well, like I said, with you were teaching.
No, you're the one that was doing well.
Well, thanks. No,
that's good.
But I got it because of the way you were explaining things to me.
Babe.
And I have to, because I need things step by step. And if I'm supposed to be doing two moves at the same time, like putting my leg on your thigh at the same time grabbing your arm, like I need to know that. Because if not, I'm going to grab one arm and then put my leg on your thigh, and you're gonna get out. No. But I would be dangerous. I can tell you that because I have some strong ass legs.
Yeah.
And so I would like to choke some people out with my legs.
The only problem is that you're not usually the people for choking people with your legs. They have long legs. Those are the ones that get the good triangles. Is people that have longer legs.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to wrap it around, Yeah, people. Anyway, but yeah, so today was fun. It was a lot of fun. And then, so now we're here. And it seems like it's been forever since we recorded. Like, it seems like it's been a while. Does it seem like that way to you?
I almost...
You forgot.
You forgot
we had to record today.
I did. I was like, you're like, so what time are we going to record? And I look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about? No. And I'm like,
you're like, record what?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that. We got to record today.
So,
it's like it's nonstop. And I've been tired these days, but I think it's because I'm taking intermittent fasting to the next level.
You're
like, I'm not eating until 5 p.m. And by that time, I'm just exhausted.
Why?
Why what?
Why are you doing that?
What do you mean? Why are you doing it?
Yeah, but I'm not complaining.
Shut your... I'm just trying to figure out why I'm feeling fatigued. That's why. Because I was feeling fatigued yesterday as well. I don't know. Just because we're busy, we're doing things.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm just saying, yeah.
And I didn't want to. Last night, how do we eat?
Like shit.
Exactly.
But it was
delicious.
I
didn't feel like I felt full, and I didn't want to eat until later on.
Yeah.
But shit, I wasn't expecting 5 o'clock later on.
Yeah.
But we just had a lot of stuff going on, and then I was just tired, and I'm like, I don't want to make myself anything to eat.
Exciting stuff that we're talking about. Anyway, so I just got back from Detroit from a work trip, which was cool. We were able to stop in Detroit for a little bit and go sightseeing, and I had never been to Detroit. We saw this old cathedral. I sent you some pictures of it.
I thought that you melted as soon as you stepped a foot in.
I was like,
I was very surprised when I got those pictures. I'm like, why is Miguel at a church? Like, I'm not with you. What are you doing at a church, dude?
That's the last place I would have thought. Miguel at church? And
right?
I'm not, what the
What did your mom say? Or no, it was Jeff. What he said, are you there to confess your sins?
Something like that. But no, it was like this really old church. I think it was built in like the 1800s, and it was St. Joseph's Oratory. It was crazy though, because it was super old. It looks like like if you picture an old cathedral, that's what it looks like. But when we walked in, so I went with a couple guys from work, and when we walked in, there was one person inside the place, and they had the pews and the altar and all that stuff, and there was one guy in there, and when we got there, he left. And it seemed like this whole place was completely empty. And the ceilings are gigantic, and you're like looking around, you're like, it looks really cool. I mean, even, it's nice. The architecture, everything's nice, and the stained glass windows. And then when you look back towards the back of the church, you see the giant organs and the pipes. And we started just walking around upstairs, and then we find the bell tower. And there was a door, like an old school door with latches, and we unlatched it. And then we saw the spiral staircase going up to the top of the bell tower. And you can see the ropes hanging down through the wooden floor where they used to pull the ropes to ring the bell. But it started not getting creepy or anything, but it was getting kind of sketchy up there. Like, you could see, like, the floors were creaking. You could see through the floorboards, you could hear it. I'll post a video on our story. Yeah. You guys can check it out. But yeah, you could see like holes through the floor. I was like, I'm not going up any further because I'm gonna start crashing floor by floor.
I heard you like breathing all heavy. I'm like, dang.
Yeah, in the video I was like, fuck that. I'm not dying up here.
I'm turning back around.
But it was really cool.
Yeah. And you were gone for 4 days, and I enjoyed missing you.
Yeah.
I enjoyed missing you, and I enjoyed having that time, with the kids. And
the active fool.
They were good. They were good. Yeah, they were good. But I don't remember who it was, but they're like, God, how do you feel when he's away? And I'm like, I'm fine.
Who said?
I don't remember.
Somebody or
May have
the
been-
the kids?
No, not the kids. No.
Oh.
Yeah. They're like, how do you feel when he's away? I'm like, I'm fine. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
But-
that's cool.
I miss him. But it's good because you're always around now.
Well, yeah.
Now that
I'm
you're
always
not
home.
having to go into work, I'm like, damn.
Well, I
man,
go
what's
in every
going
once
on?
in a while. I have to go in from time to time, but yeah. No, and the trips are like, I like being home. I like being with my family.
I know. And I feel so bad for you because I know that when you're out, you don't sleep well.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I toss and like I try to get some sleep. I toss and turn. Like, and that I don't know what it is. It's just me, but I don't know. It is weird because I can sleep in a lot of places. Like I do fall asleep.
You
but,
fall asleep. You would fall asleep standing up.
Yeah, but for some reason, yeah, it's weird. I don't know. Hotels, I don't sleep
It's because
well.
I'm not there with you.
Yeah,
Lie
true.
to me. No.
It's because of you guys. I don't sleep well in hotels.
You're stupid.
It's so cold.
So as soon as Miguel gets home, okay, just a breath of fresh air walks into the door.
What the hell? Did you
And
hear
he's like, babe, yeah, go ahead.
What? What did I
Go
say?
ahead.
What did I hear? What did I say?
You start talking about just what's going on in this world.
Oh, in Afghanistan?
Yes.
Well,
So he
as soon as I, like, dude, it was the first thing, like when we didn't have internet on the plane. So as soon as I get off the plane, it's all over the news.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell happened?
And I don't watch the news, so I am unaware. I'm in my little happy bubble where I like to be. And then my husband comes home and he's like, hey, did you hear about what's happening in the
Oh my
world?
God.
And he brings this dark cloud over me. And I'm like, well, thanks, babe. But let me share this with you because I do like being in my happy bubble. I try to stay in my happy bubble for as long as possible. But you've been right
What?
about some things. Not
What are you talking about?
because I don't, because I am very emotional. You bring these real
Issues?
issues that are happening around the world
Yeah.
to my attention. And a lot of times when I'm watching it, I'm like, I don't want to watch this. Like it's
Yeah.
like I rather not know that that's happening, kind of,
Yeah.
because it affects me.
Yeah, it's true.
And I try to stay away from it, right? Like I don't look for that information and we don't watch the news. Therefore, I am unaware what's happening around the world unless
Yeah.
you bring something to my attention or my mother. Right?
Yeah. That's funny.
But I have to say that it's good to be aware what's happening,
Yeah.
with the
You know what?
shortage, the water,
Well,
just
you know what?
everything.
There's something that I think this is who I heard it from, and he's pretty new. A guy that I found recently, and he's got videos on TikTok. I think that's where he's getting big because he's teaching like science to kids.
Oh, yes.
And I think he goes by the Renegade Science Teacher or Renegade Science Teacher on TikTok. But he was saying something about what is that? There's a chemical that makes you feel like empathy towards people. Or it may not have been him, but he's got good videos. Check it out. But there's a chemical that makes us feel empathy towards others. That it's like when we see our baby, like the love that we feel, there's that chemical, or like our family.
I have a lot of that chemical.
But it doesn't always, it's not the same for people that look different than us for some reason. Like that, you have to get around, you have to experience them and know what they're like, and then you'll have those same feelings for them that you have for the people. It's kind of like the people that look like us, because that's what we're familiar with. So when we see them struggling, when we see them hurting, it's almost like we can empathize with that. But somebody that looks completely different, I think he was saying that a lot of times we don't have those same feelings. Like if they're on the other side of the world, they dress different, they talk different, they look different. You don't have that same empathy for them.
I have to disagree with that.
But if you know people that are from there, if you have been around the culture, it's different. Or, I mean, I guess if you're, I don't know, if you've been exposed more, the more you're exposed to it, the more you can empathize with it. I think is kind of what they were talking about.
I don't know. Me personally, that's not true.
So, before you knew anything about any of this stuff, do you think you would have had more or less empathy towards the people that are going through struggles over there?
No. For me, it's anyone who's struggling I can empathize with. They don't have to look like me. They don't have to know me. I don't have to know them. But
I'm talking about like if you see a news report of something that's happening on the other side of the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
Okay.
That's why I avoid watching those things, because I get super emotional when I see anyone hurt.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think it just kind of makes it makes it more real, I guess. Like when you know somebody,
This is what I think. I think that if more people were aware, we as individuals can become better at saving our planet, or helping or donating.
I think like kind of like some of the things that have happened in the past, like with the virus, with, I don't know, the terrorist attacks, just different things that have happened. Like me growing up in New York, I got to know people from all over the world. Like there was no confusion between Hispanic people. We didn't have that problem in New York. Nobody mistakes you for Mexican or whatever, because people in New York, they meet people from so many different cultures that they don't assume that guy's Chinese and that guy's Chinese because they kind of look this. No, we know this guy could be Korean, he could be Vietnamese, Cantonese, like whatever. It just, there's differences. And
this person could be Asian. This person could be Mexican.
So,
no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Joe Coy.
He's Filipino. He's not Mexican. But the thing is, that's why, like when you're watching something happening across the world, like I have friends from elementary school, Assad, he was from Afghanistan. Like I know somebody, I know their name. Right. So when you see those people, it's like, that's where my friend was from.
Jeez. Yes.
It makes it more real, I guess. I don't know.
Yes. I think by you plugging into what's happening, it's softening you a bit.
How?
It's helping you to empathize. It's helping you, because I've always had that.
Yeah.
But like you and I have been talking a lot about what's happening in the world, and it's really affecting your emotions.
Yeah.
And I've never seen you tap into your emotions the way you've been lately.
Yeah.
Or maybe you've just never talked to me about it, but not that being soft is, it's being empathizing. Like I see you more. It's not being soft. That's the wrong word.
It's just kind of like I'm thinking about things.
Yes.
I'm just thinking about things and thinking about all sides. Like even this morning I was telling you, I was listening to something and they were talking about, look, I've been living in Arizona for 20 years almost. You've been here your whole life. Arizona is known to be a right Republican leaning state. And you just start thinking like, I've been here for 20 years. That has to have an influence on me. Like if we lived the last 20 years in New York where it's more liberal, how would we be thinking? It's not that they're different or that they're the enemy. We live in different places.
Right.
The problem is that when we live here and they live there, or in California and the snowflakes or whatever they want to call them, talking all kinds of shit, you might be the same freaking person if you live there.
Yes.
So instead of saying they're idiots and we can't listen to what they say, they don't know shit about guns. They don't know shit about this. They think that, we need to give all our money to the, to the poor people or whatever. It's like, how about listen? And then there may be, the answer may be in between, and it probably is, because that's the thing is the other states like California and New York where they lean more to the left, they usually say like they want to help people more, right? Like it's more, they're more giving, more charitable. And then I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And then the people on the right, they want people to earn it. They don't want you to get shit for free.
Right.
You should work for it.
Right.
And you get what you get.
Right.
I agree with that too.
Right. But sometimes there's people that are working and doing what they need to do,
and they
but
need
lose
some
their
help.
job. Yes. Yes.
Look, we're going through a pandemic. I have no problem. There's people that I'm sure have scammed the system during this time, but there's people that need help, and helping them during, like, nobody could have predicted this shit.
Right.
And helping them, let's do it.
Right.
You know? But then,
I mean, we were those people at one point, right? Like, that needed some help. Yeah.
Look, when I got my license for working on aircraft, I got help from the unemployment office to pay for my license so that I could get back to work. And they called me years later. They're like, "Hey, are you still working using that license?" I'm like, "Yes." Yes, I've been using it for years.
Great example. That's what I'm talking about.
And guess how much tax money at that time I didn't have the money. Now I have the money.
Right.
But that was able to get me back on track. And how much have we paid in taxes since I got that license? It was probably a good investment for the government, right? They helped me out and they paid off.
And that's how it should work.
That's a good program. Now, giving somebody welfare for month after month, month after month, you don't have to prove shit.
Right.
You keep having kids, getting more money for free, getting more.
I don't even know if we should be talking about this right now, but
I'm saying that I have a problem with.
Right.
So maybe a system that's kind of in between, where you get some free money at first, but at a certain point, you got to start proving some shit. And then at a certain point, you know what? It goes away because it's on you at that point. You should have figured it out by then.
Yes. I think there should be a time limit.
There should be.
To it.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, is that it's not like one side or the other. You guys are stupid. We can't just give them all. No, maybe the answer's in the middle. And maybe if you saw it that way, like, depending on where you're living, that has an influence on you.
Yes. So I was sitting down and signing during one of the signings, and one of the individuals that I was signing was an investor. And he was talking about, I'm so thankful that we're not in this situation, but so many people are not paying their rent.
Yeah.
Not a lot of them, not because they don't have the money, but just because
they don't have to.
They don't have to.
Yeah.
And does anyone ever think about the landlord who's having to pay that mortgage?
Yeah, if it's
and how it's affecting them and their family?
Especially if it's somebody that's just
like
us, that's trying to get ahead, and then now all of a sudden, now you're stuck with the mortgage and you can't do anything about the person that's in your house. Like, that's your house. You're not a corporation.
Right. They're helping the person stay in the house, but they're not helping the person who actually...
And they could lose everything.
Right. Like, that just makes no kind of sense.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what's happening. You know, and it's
There's
cheaper not to work right now, right? For them to receive unemployment. They're getting paid more in unemployment versus, working a job.
You know what? That is, I don't know. I have a hard time with that. Like, just sitting around and, I don't know. Yeah.
Yes.
I gotta earn it. Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know how we got on that, but and that's something that, we are teaching our kids. It's like, you lead by example. They see the time that we put in.
Yeah.
They see the work.
Yeah, and they got to keep an open, and we want to teach them to keep an open mind.
And to help
others. Listen to the other side. Like, you want to listen to everything.
Yes.
And some shit's crazy.
And that's why I am not left. I am not right. Like, I am in the middle.
Yeah.
Independent. Call me whatever you want to call me. I don't know. I just...
Yeah, independent. Whatever.
Yeah. Whatever. How do we get into that?
I don't know. You started talking about Afghanistan, which is completely fucked. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. You being the dark cloud that came home and said, "Hey, did you see this?" While I'm in my happy bubble.
Yep.
And then there was something else he had brought up, but it's like, I was like, dang, this sucks,
Yeah.
And then I recognize that it's good to be aware. And if people were more aware of what's happening, we can all come together and do something about it. Stop taking an hour shower when you don't need to take an hour shower.
Yeah.
You know, go buy some artificial grass.
Yeah.
But
in Arizona, yeah. But yeah, with all the stuff that's happening in Afghanistan, it's pretty sad. The people that we've left behind, our allies that we've left behind, you guys have heard all about it, I'm sure. But one thing that somebody that we follow, Jocko Willing, if you want to check it out, he put out something on his Instagram kind of addressing the things that happened in Afghanistan as if he were the president and how he would respond to
that was so
the
good.
base being attacked. Mm-hmm. And Jocko, if you follow him yourselves, and if you don't, he's got a bunch of leadership books, and he's a great leader, like to learn from. He was a SEAL team commander, and he's got books, Extreme Ownership and Dichotomy of Leadership. And in this video, he takes 100% ownership of the attacks at the airport. Mm-hmm. And then he talks about what they're going to do in the next 48 hours. They're going to take back all the air bases, and anybody that stands in the way of them taking back the air bases will be killed, and that they will get everybody out, and anybody that interferes with that will be killed. Like, he's not messing. Yes. Like, he puts it down, but you just don't. Everything that we've heard from anybody in the government regarding what's happening over there is just a bunch of bullshit. It's just them like sidestepping the answers. Mm-hmm. They don't take ownership for shit. Mm-hmm. It's like you hear. I don't.
Yes. Okay. We don't want to get all into that. If you want to listen to it,
but everything is everybody else's fault.
Yes. And I think that's
and we have.
Yes.
This is why, like, I was talking to some of the guys that I work with, and I do feel weird saying that I was in the military, and I don't feel comfortable suggesting the military to anybody today. But you know what? I don't think that's
joining
a weird
the military.
Yeah. I don't think that's a weird thing to say. It has nothing to do with the troops, because the troops, right, I back 100%. It is the leadership that is fucked. That I do not agree with at all. But the troops, I have friends that have been there for 20 years. Mm-hmm. Like, when we joined, it wasn't like this. Or maybe it was, not exactly the way it is today. And maybe there was things that we didn't understand, that we didn't see at that time because we were younger. Mm-hmm. But we joined for certain reasons, a lot of us.
Could you imagine the response from the people if our president did stand up and speak his, and take responsibility for what happened, and then talk about how we're going to fix it? Like, how many people, because so many of us, we talk about leading by example. Yeah. Well, he's the president of the United States. And a lot of us are in situations where we blame others, right? Instead of taking responsibility for our actions or our decisions, we point the finger at everybody else. Yeah. Instead of taking a hard look in the mirror and fessing up.
Yeah, taking ownership.
The life I'm living today is because of the decisions and the actions that I did or did not do.
Yeah. And then once you take ownership, then you have to make a plan. Yes. And the other thing that Jocko was, that he didn't talk about it in the video, but in his books, when you're a leader and your plan, things aren't going according to plan, yeah, you take ownership. This is the plan that I made. It was my plan. It was a mistake.
Right.
This is where we go from here. Mm-hmm. This is how we correct what we did. And you do that as early as possible. It's not like, this is my plan, this is what we're sticking to, and we're not changing anything at all because my plan is perfect and nothing can go wrong.
Right.
No, shit went wrong. People got killed.
Right. Are you looking for something on the same subject to talk about?
It's just sad because people don't.
Well, this is something we teach our kids.
They just completely let everybody over there down.
Yeah.
We made promises to people from there to help us. Mm-hmm. When we leave, they're dead. They're dead. Their families are dead if they get caught. And if they find out that they helped us, they're dead. Mm-hmm. There was a guy that was killed, McCullough, I think his last name was McCullough. You guys, if you can look him up, I think they have a GoFundMe. He was killed. He was, I don't know how many days from coming home. His baby was due in like 3 weeks.
Aw.
Yeah. That is the fault of our government.
I don't know if we should be talking about this right now.
No, that's bullshit.
Podcast is going to get deleted
that's why we
or not heard.
That's bullshit. So when somebody, like if anybody has a hard time with people not being down for joining the military, guess what? They fucking let them down.
Yeah.
All of them. It's sad.
Yeah. I mean, what I was talking about was with our kids. Yeah. You know, like it starts in the home with taking responsibility.
Man. Yeah.
Right? When we make a mistake, there was a time where I was working with Joey, and this kid, when it comes to homework, oh my, right? You just got to pray to your God to give you patience. But this day I didn't.
Yeah.
And he was just throwing a little fit, and I just was done. Like I was just done, and I yelled at him, and he looked at me and he said, "Mom," he said, "yelling at me is not going to help me."
Yeah.
And I looked down and I'm like, you know what, Joey, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yep.
And he looked at me, and my goddaughter was here during that time, and she was upstairs, and she came downstairs after I was done with Joey, and her and I were talking, and she's like, my dad would have never apologized like that.
Yeah.
She said. And I didn't even think about it. Like I didn't even think about what I did and how it may have had an effect on him, but not only on him, on her.
Yeah.
You know? And I never thought about that.
There was one time that I got in trouble. I didn't get in trouble. There was
many times where Miguel got in trouble as a child.
No, I've gotten in trouble a bunch of times. There was one time that I was inspecting a helicopter, and there was a gearbox that we had taken apart, and we were putting it back together. And I could have swore that I looked at this ring, that it's a lock ring that kind of holds some things together. And it's pretty important. It's not a small thing. Mm-hmm. And I missed it, but I didn't put it together. I was inspecting it. But I've always seen it. Like I was literally looking right at it, and I was looking for that, but somehow I still missed. I don't know. It was one of those things. I'm glad. I was happy that somebody else caught it.
Right.
You know, that's all I cared. I'm like, and I felt horrible, you know, because that's one of those things that if you care about your work, and when you care about doing something that's that important,
yes,
it doesn't, you feel bad. Like you don't feel good when something like that happens. But this is on another note. The very next one that came up, I told the other guys that I work with, I want it. I want the next one to make sure that I do it right. That's what you have to do, right?
How do you teach that?
The other thing was when the other guy that worked on it, I mean, we had to talk, right? We had to see each other.
Right.
And I told him, I was like, sorry, man. I let you down. It was my responsibility to make sure that was done right, and I missed it. And he was, you know what happens when you do that? He was like,
respect.
He also took responsibility.
Yes.
He's like, I should have caught it.
Yes.
I was like, you know what? We'll get it next time for sure.
Yes.
And he was like, okay. But you don't see that at all from anybody in our leadership anymore, you know, but that's what taking ownership is. Yes.
And I just asked a question and I answered it myself, but how do you teach that? It starts at home. It starts with us. It starts with us.
Yeah. It's like admitting your mistakes. And then where do you go from there? How do you correct it?
Right. And that plays such a big role as well when it comes to marriage.
Yeah.
It's such a big role. And I remember one time you telling me that you felt that was something I had a challenge with, was apologizing when I was wrong. Do you remember?
I think so.
And I never thought that was
maybe that's
a
everybody's
problem.
thing.
You know?
Maybe,
well, maybe it was towards you, maybe.
Yeah.
You know, because with others, I don't feel that I have that problem apologizing. You know, when it comes to like my sister or my nieces, or when I'm wrong, I'm the first to say I'm sorry, even when I'm not at fault. You know that.
I hope you guys made it to this part of the podcast and didn't turn it off in the first fucking 10 minutes.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's weird because I'm recognizing that now that I don't have a problem saying I'm sorry. And you know that because I've apologized even when I wasn't in the wrong. And you're like, why are you doing that?
Why
I'm like,
would you
because
do that?
I rather save this relationship. Like, being right is not that important. When it comes to my family or friends or people that I love dear, I rather be wrong and not lose that relationship.
Yeah.
But for some reason with you, maybe it's because you're so big-headed and pig-headed. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Really?
But maybe, I don't know what it is. Or maybe you just get under my skin and I'm like, I'm not going to say sorry. I don't know. But I have, like, do you still feel that I am that way?
Maybe, no, I don't think so. No.
And I remember.
No, I think both of us have, because I think I was probably that way too. I'm sure I was. I think, I don't know if it's just in marriage. Is it like that in marriage?
Maybe that's something that we had to recognize.
Because it's not like that anymore.
No.
But yeah, I think you're right.
You know.
Right?
Which is often, but no.
I guess you're right.
I think it's just us being more taking the other person into consideration, like their feelings, their emotions.
Are we more in tune?
Yes, I believe so. And we check our emotions. Oh, I had that as a note. You know, you have to check your emotions before your emotions take over your life. You know, it's like, why am I feeling this way?
Yeah.
You know, why am I so upset? Am I wrong? And even if I'm not wrong, is it really that important to be right?
Yeah.
And in a relationship, it's just like humbling yourself, being humble and taking responsibility if you were in the wrong and being the first to apologize. And I think because we are now both on that level, but my question is, and I'm sure people that are watching this are probably asking themselves, what did you do? What did you have to correct in order for both of you to get on that level? What would you say that was? Like, think back. What would you say that was? What helped us? Or you can only answer for yourself, but what did it? What helped you to recognize that?
I think it's probably the communication. I mean, that's all. That's the only thing I can think of is just from us talking over the years, like just talking about little things, talking about things that are a little more serious, like talking about everything. We talk about everything.
There's so much that we need to off record, off podcast talk about in order to help couples that are watching our podcast, because there was a time where our communication, we would talk.
What do you mean off podcast?
Like discuss this off of, offline.
Oh, so we can kind of get it.
Yeah, because there was a point in our
so relationship exactly
where our communication was not on point. You were yelling at me. I completely closed off. I was not hearing anything you had to say because the way you would respond to me, like, how did we get to the point to where we are today, where we can communicate about everything?
That at that time you had started reading the Bible. And it was around that same time that I started realizing that I was throwing away what I wanted. You remember? Like that? I think that's what it was.
Yes.
And then it was like, you know what? I need to be here. I need to pay
Yes.
attention. This is what's important, not these stupid, not fucking working all the, like playing video games and like all that other shit.
Yeah.
It's this. Like, yeah, work is important too, but, this is important. This is what's most important.
So for you, it was like, I'm screwing this up. I'm messing this up. And for me, it was, what can I do to become a better wife? What is it that I need to do? And you're right. I started reading the Bible, and in the Bible it states to submit to your husband, and before submitting to any man, what
was not
the
happening.
who what
Yeah.
kind of deal. So I had to humble myself, and I think it was just going through life, going through challenges. I think created a bigger bond between us, because I started to see that, this man has my back. Like when, I'm going to make myself cry. When my sister passed away, you were there for me.
Yeah.
And 2 months later, your grandmother passed away. And going through all that, what challenges made us stronger, because we did go through a lot together. I mean, shortly after my sister passing, a couple years later, we ended up with 3 teenagers, and seeing that you had my back, like that is what humbled me tremendously, because I never allowed myself to love a man, to really fall in love with a man.
Yeah.
But being with you and going through those challenges.
It was challenging.
Yes. Brought us closer, and our relationship started to just strengthen.
So let's explain some of the, how the relationship started, because in the beginning there was a lot of challenges, and we can kind of go through some of the things that we went through. Like you've already mentioned some of them right in the beginning. But before we do that, make sure you guys go to oppositesattractpodcast.com now that we're almost at the end of the podcast, and share with the people that you know. You can watch the podcast there. You can listen to it there. You can follow our social media. And if you're on the phone or the computer, you can hit the menu button, or at the top of the page, you'll see the tab that says support the show. When you click on that, it'll take you to our Amazon link. And anything that you purchase through that link doesn't cost you anything extra, but it helps out the show. And if you look up Opposites Attract Podcast on Amazon, you'll find our merch, our t-shirts, our pop sockets, our phone cases. And if you buy those, you help Jeff Bezos get to space another time. So make sure you guys help him, because he needs a little bit more money. And also, we're affiliates with Libsyn, which is who hosts our podcast. If you guys have, I think I skipped something there, right? Make sure if you guys want to start a podcast, if you have a hobby that you want to talk about, you can use promo code OAP for Opposites Attract Podcast. That'll get you whatever month you sign up in. It'll get you the rest of that month for free, and the next month just for trying out Libsyn, promo code OAP. And what I forgot,
Pinwheel.
No, yes, that one too. Trust Inc.
Yes.
TrustINKUSA.com, which is
a mobile notary agency and signing agency. So if you are in the process of selling, purchasing, or refinancing your home, you can request Trust Inc. to be your signing agency. Yes, yes.
Yep, and you can go to Trust Inc. directly by going to TrustINKUSA.com, and you can also click on the Support the Show tab, and you'll find them there. And we're also affiliates with Pinwheel, which is a smartphone company for kids. They make the best smartphone for kids out there. And just yesterday, we were getting ready to go to, I think I was working from home, and Audrey was at school. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to get our daughter a phone because she was going into junior high. But we didn't want to give her a regular phone.
Right. We didn't want her to have access to social media.
The internet, all the stuff that's on the internet,
right.
All that stuff. But yesterday, I was working from home, and when she gets home from school, we go to jiu-jitsu like shortly after. And she's got a little bit of a walk, and here in Arizona, it's super hot.
Yes.
So I wanted to send her a text to tell her, like, hey, do you want me to pick you up so you're not all sweaty, and then we can go to jiu-jitsu? Mm-hmm. But if we just didn't get her a phone, so I'm glad that she has the phone, because I was able to text her, and then she reminded me that she had some friends coming over for a party or a sleepover or whatever. But yeah, so that's like one of the ways that like we're happy that she has that phone, but she doesn't have the access to all the things that are bad. Yes. If you guys want to get 10% off of a Pinwheel phone, you can use promo code OAP10. That's all spelled out, all in caps, OAPTEN on pinwheel.com, and that'll give you 10% off of a Pinwheel phone.
What I love about that phone, really quick, is that I have peace of mind. Like, seriously, I don't have to worry about what she's looking at, who she's talking to, any of that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And when you give them a regular smartphone, it's just...
You have no idea.
You just gave them the whole world in the palm of their hand.
Right. Yep.
And
a lot of that's going to come, that's probably another podcast, but everything, them having access to social media, the internet and everything else, the strain and the stress that it brings upon them, which we can get into that, in another podcast. But it's like, I want to protect my little one. I want to protect her and I know people are like, yeah, but you don't want to protect her, like, so that she's not, in this her little
in a
bubble.
Yeah. So she doesn't know what's happening out there. But no, yeah. She needs to.
But we talk to them, and then there's a show that she watches as well that we're watching with her to bring her aware of what social media does to them.
Yes. If you guys want to check that out, it's called Childhood 2.0. You can find it on YouTube, and it's free. It's a documentary by a company called Bark, which partners with Pinwheel, which we're working. They don't know it yet, but we'll work on something to get somebody, because they make an app that helps monitor some of the things that Pinwheel can't monitor. So, and they're kind of doing some similar work, and they're focused on the same things. But check out that documentary, Childhood 2.0. And it talks about a lot of the dangers. And
and if you want to learn more, do you remember the episode that we interviewed the CEO? Because I think that would be really good as well.
Yeah, one of the partners.
So if you guys are like, what is this Pinwheel? What? I want to know more. We actually interviewed the CEO of Pinwheel, and he breaks it down. He talks about the board members and how that came about, and just what their plans are, and so his story is really good.
Yes, it was. Yes. It was episode. I'm getting close.
Getting close.
132.
Pinwheel
with Isaiah.
There
McKee.
You go.
There
yes.
So, what were we talking about? Jiu-jitsu? No, I'm just kidding. We were talking about the beginning
marriage.
Of our relationship.
Yes.
So, yeah, like you said, when we first met, your sister passed away. And then shortly after, my grandmother passed away. And then we kind of dated for a little bit. We had a little bit of a long-distance relationship. But then I ended up moving in with you. And was your mom living with us?
Yes.
Was she living with us yet or not?
I have never been alone, my love. We have never been alone. Because my mom was living
I moved into your house
with me when you moved in. Yes. So she was there, and she moved out right before we had Adriana, and then shortly after we ended up getting the kids. So, I think it was right.
Listen, when we first started our relationship, like when we seriously, I think it was shortly after I moved into your house, because it was kind of like one of those things. Like, if I'm moving into your house at this point, like, we're gonna take things pretty, like, we're doing this, right? And we went to go visit some family, I think. This is in the very beginning.
Oh, God.
Or no, that may not.
Are you really going to go there?
That might have actually been
before.
We
were dating. Yes, we were dating.
This was the very first time that I ever met your family.
My family, yes.
And there was a bit of an altercation.
Yes. Let's not get into that.
No. We're not going to say who or what. But I'm just saying, like, for the beginning of our relationship, there was a slap boxing match. And then we moved in together, right?
Yes. That's when he decided, I got to get with this girl. Yep.
She's a scrapper. I'm down. But and then we moved in together, and then your mom was living with us. And then we got some information that, our nieces and nephews weren't doing too well, so we had to go to...
We got the niece first.
Yes, we went to California and picked her up, and then we ended up getting...
the other two came shortly after. Yeah. Yes.
And then, that's when we had teenagers overnight.
Yes. And there was so much...
So we had to start figuring out high school.
Yeah, we had to figure out IEP.
Well, no. So your mom lived with us, and then after that, you had our daughter.
Yes.
Audrey.
Yes.
And then we got the 3 teenagers.
Yes.
So that's what was going down.
Yes.
And so we have a new baby, and we're figuring out high school and all that other stuff.
Yes. Disability. I mean, yeah, there was so much going on because they just, they just lost their mom. I was the cool aunt.
Hold up. We're forgetting a whole other part. I had a situation where I had some legal troubles. Not anything.
I don't think we have enough time, babe, to get into all this.
Listen, I wasn't a bad person. It wasn't anything like that. No. I'm not going to get into it. But it was mind-melting, mind-numbing, just tens of thousands of dollars spent. And that is all happening while all these other things are happening.
Right. And
through it all, it was no matter what, we're down. I was down for whatever could come, and you were down.
And I surprised the shit out of myself.
You did. You man.
I'm thinking about it and I'm like ready to cry.
You damn near turned into an attorney. I was like, what the hell?
Like, and it's something that I never wanted to. Yeah. It's something that I just did not want.
You didn't want to do
in a relationship. I did not.
You didn't want to do that.
But like, that's when I'm like I saw that you had, like, this man loves me and I love him. And this is it. Like, we're going to do this. We're going to work through this. And I remember that there was a point in time where I can see it. I can picture it. I can feel it. And I'm telling you, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And it was with the kids. Oh. No, like, I didn't know if I didn't know if I had the strength to continue to move because of all the challenges that we were going through with the kids.
After another.
But it's like, we didn't have a choice because there was nobody else that would step up. You know, like, it was us and only us. And I remember crying, and I'm pregnant with Joey and I'm crying to you. And this was like later, a year or so after we had the kids, and I'm crying to you, and you're just like, we got this. Like, you were my backbone.
Was it like the car?
What?
Was it like the car with the car accidents?
Yeah, but it was just
that, like, sometimes I get tired and it's like, it's time to fight.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, is like, I don't care what happens, we're going to start swinging.
Yeah.
And that leads to something that we were talking about. There's people that when trouble comes, there's something about a job, like, people get in trouble, like something happens in their life.
Yeah.
And they stop working. They stop taking care. Like, work is one of the most important things in your life. You cannot stop. No matter what happens, you have to keep moving. Mm-hmm. You have to handle those things as they're coming, but you have to keep moving. If you stop working, all it's going to do is you're going to start burying yourself. And that's just like the scrapping. Like, when you're getting the shit kicked out of you, at a certain point, you got to start fighting back. Right. And it was those moments when just like one thing after another, and it's like, you know what? I get this sometimes. It's just like, I don't care what happens. We are going to fucking fight our way out of this shit. Little by little. The debt, we've had that feeling with debt before. Mm-hmm. We had that feeling when all those things were happening. We had that feeling when we had the back-to-back car accidents and things are kicking off again, and it's just nonstop, right? And it's like, fuck it, let's go.
Like, I forget about the struggle.
Right?
I do. I forget about the struggle. I forget about the things that we've gone through together. And actually, we're talking about this, and we haven't talked about this in a long time.
Yeah.
Because we're so good where we are. But we're so good where we are in our relationship, our finances, just all of it because of the struggle. Like, the struggle has made us stronger. But because things are so good, you forget about the things that we've gone through together in order to get to where we are.
Babe, do you think that had anything to do with our relationship today? Like, if our what if we were just kind of dating and Yeah, I'm gonna take
like
you
it
to
was easy.
Yeah.
No, well, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Maybe it was like
saying-
that from the beginning. The shit that we were going through, we had to team up to do. There's no way I could have done the shit by myself.
No,
There's no way
yeah.
you could have done that shit by
No,
yourself.
it was God's plan.
Right?
And that's how I feel.
And that
like,
was from the very beginning.
That's why I said I feel like God, you walked in that door at that time with that beautiful smile, suited and booted. God knew what I liked, and he sent me my Prince Charming right through that door, and I saw it and I claimed it, even though I didn't get it until a year later because of the situation and because of we respected each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
From the beginning, I knew that you were a good man, because when you and I met in 2006, we need to do a whole new podcast on this. In 2006, when I met you it was a business event.
Yeah.
You were in a relationship and you had a little girl, and as soon as I heard you had a little girl, I'm like, nope, sorry, not doing it.
Not
because
happening.
I'm not going through that drama, because this little girl has a mom and I don't know that mom. And anytime there's a mom involved, sorry, that equals drama. I'm stepping away, right? Yeah. But during that time, you and her were not in a good relationship. You were not. It was about to end, but you didn't even have to tell me about her. Like, you didn't have to tell me about her. You didn't have to tell me you were in a relationship. True. Because you were already at the end of breaking. You were about to, and I had no idea. Like, you never spoke ill about her. You never mentioned any of that. None of that.
That's always been.
I didn't find out until you and her were separated about how bad that relationship was.
Yeah.
You never spoke ill about, and that's how I knew at the beginning, like I could trust you.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have to tell me the truth at that time. You know?
Yeah.
And I do believe that everything that we've gone through, I believe that God brought you to me. Like, this was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And like you said, you say it again. You said how we both came together. Like, you couldn't have done this on your own.
No, I couldn't.
And I couldn't imagine raising 3 teenagers that went through what they went through.
Yeah, that, I mean,
on my own.
I wouldn't say, like, we did the best we could with what we knew. I wouldn't say raising them. They
were already. Yeah.
They had their mom when they had their mom,
yes.
and they kind of raised themselves for a period of time, and we helped where we could.
Right.
And we will.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we had no idea what we were doing.
We were taking parenting classes.
Oh my God. But you know what we did good?
What?
We did good because when they would get disciplined, you guys, listen, we were in Legal Shield, and at Legal Shield, it was all about personal development. How to better yourself. So when these kids got in trouble, we would make them read
our books.
Good books.
our books.
Like leadership books, right? And
yeah.
I would make them, and I still have copies of their reports, their book reports, because I would make them do a book report on each chapter on what they learned.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we probably, screwed up. I know we did in some areas, and some areas we didn't, but it's like you just do what you have to do with what you have at that time. And that's why I respect my mom so much, because she was such a young mom. And she didn't have to keep us, like she didn't have to keep us. She didn't have to struggle the way she did in order to take care of us.
But she made it happen. Yeah.
And you don't realize that until you get older. You don't realize for me, like how great she was and how hard she had to work until I got older.
Yeah. Now you appreciate it.
Yes.
Now you see it.
Yes.
Shit. And now you, like, it was her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
Happy birthday to your mom.
Yes. There's so many birthdays.
Yeah.
There's so many birthdays.
So many birthdays.
Yes. My goddaughter had a birthday.
Your
yes.
mom. It's your mom's birthday.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Happy birthday.
Love you.
And with
love you. We were all over the place with this whole marriage thing.
I hope you guys made it to the end because I think it turned out pretty good here.
It did,
once we figured out what the hell was happening.
But we really need to get into that.
Yeah.
Because we were so everywhere, and there's so many great lessons that we can help other marriages with.
Yeah, we just got to think about it a little bit. Like sit down and think about it.
We have 13 years.
Yeah.
Of life lessons that we've gone through.
And on another podcast, we'll get into it.
We love you guys. Thank you for your support.
Make sure you guys go to oppositesattractpodcast.com.
Yes.
Share it with the people that you know. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. You guys can follow us at Opposite Pod. And send us a message. Let us know what you want us to talk about. You guys can give us a call at 480-912-5128.
Yes.
Send us a message. Leave us a voicemail. We can play it on the show. If you have a question, you can leave it there.
Thank you for listening to Opposites Attract Podcast,
where we get better
together. Bye.